Hey everybody, Soybean Farmer here. The Berry Man cleaner worked great. This all came out nice and clean. Everything's, in fact, it looks pretty new. A little bit of pitting down in there, but it's clean. I'm well pleased with the way that came out. There's the bowl cover. I was really pleased with the way all of the old gasket material came out of here. So I'm going to start figuring out how to get these 3 jets back in here. There's a rubber plug here, a small jet here, there's a large jet here, and a medium-sized jet here. I don't know all the names of these. This is my first time ever, taking a carburetor like this apart, completely 100%. So, trying to do this myself. I'm learning a lot as I go. What I'm doing, people, is I made a video of taking this carburetor apart, and I've got it here on the PC down in the shop. So I'm looking at things to be doggone sure about where these little O-rings go, and
God, it all came out as one piece.
Getting a refresher as to how things came out of it.
Supposed to be the high-speed jet, but I'm not sure. I just know that the little one here went into that hole right there.
Okay, well that let me know
I'm replacing it.
That I did put that back in right down here, what I'm working on. Okay, glad I made that video, because when I took this thing apart, I don't know, a week ago, a lot of little pieces in this thing, and trying to remember how all this went together, and there's no instructions. It's just based on, I took it apart, I got it all clean, I got the rebuild kit pieces, and I so desperately want this to go back together right and to work right. So I'm positive now I've got this jet is correctly reinstalled, this jet is correctly reinstalled, and the next one to go back in here is the little one that goes right there in that hole there. So okay, way cool. Went over in the toolbox and I found it. This, I used to walk around with this in my shirt pocket. Still got the clip on it. And this is a fantastic little tool here. It's called a screw starter. I don't remember how to use it. Okay, you take something that's got and you put it in there like that. And when you press down, those 2 black pieces would spread, and now you can see it's holding the screw for me. So I'll be able to take this, and I want to get in that hole right there. Stop shaking. And you don't get any torque out of this tool. It's a screw starter. You just start them with it. Alright, now to get it off, you mash and it comes right off. Yeah, awesome tool. Glad I got that. Yeah, my big old fat fingers trying to start that thing in there, I'd probably drop it and it hit the floor and bounce 3 times and roll off into Never Never Land. Okay, find it. There it went. Okay, that gets that in there. Now this is going to be tricky because I've already found out. I set that gasket in there, and when I turned this upside down, that gasket fell out. So if I was to take this, which I can now turn like that, and turn it over like this, snug. Okay. Snug. Okay, now set it. Tight. Tight. And no clue where they go. Oh, you didn't. Well, another catastrophe. Just realized that I left the main jet baffle out. Right there. And guess where that goes, folks? That goes inside the bowl. Under the float. Oh boy. Okay. So we'll be back after we take all that apart and put that back in there. Okay, corrected that horrible mistake. What had happened is I was sitting here looking at parts and looked down and saw the main jet baffle laying right here and went, oh well. So pulled the bowl off. Of course the gasket fell out, and that was a dilemma because the first time I put it on, I held it like this and brought the bowl up to it. There was two alignment pieces, and once they went in and I was able to see that I could press it down and not have a place where the gasket was out of the ridge, I was all excited and put screws in. Well, this time trying to hold it like that, the baffle fell off. Trying to hold it like that, the gasket fell off, and I don't like Permatex, didn't want to put that in there. So this time I was actually able to hold it like that. The baffle stayed in place. I did take just a little bit of oil and wipe that O-ring style gasket. It stayed in place and the two pieces went together, and I was able to hold it, turn it like this, and put the screws back in it. Oh man. That was a trip. Okay, now I'm back to the part of putting, let's see now, that washer, I did put that in there, yes. Okay, that's right, that's ready to go in. This was a trip to get back together. Okay, the 4 screws for that are laying right there. Now, trick here, you've got to line this up. This drops in, that metering needle's got to hit that hole. And that was too easy. Went right in, except it's not lined up right. So, let's see, we'll use lift. And carefully turn. I don't want to tear that thing. Already been warned, do not tear the diaphragm. Okay, that looks pretty close. Hey, I got a trick here called screwdriver. That'll let me turn it. And that's in position. Okay. Now, this has to be lined up correctly, and what they want me to do with that is that one and that one. See, that one and that one mate to that one and that one. That piece goes right there, so that goes on like that. Okay, cool. Alright, 4 screws, where they at? There's 1, There's 2. My screwdriver is gone where? Here. Okay. I wish they'd put nuts on this with a hex head. It's hard to get a Phillips head screwed tight. Okay. Now, perfect. All right. Dag nabbit. Well, folks, I guess I get to take the top off again. You know, somebody's going to watch this video and think, hey, maybe I can rebuild a carburetor. Not watching this video. Spring goes in there. Okay, we successfully practiced putting this top on, and it was a really good practice run there. So now we're going to take it off so we can put the spring back in here that goes in here. Man, what are you thinking about? And why won't you get your mind on what you're doing and stop leaving parts out of the carburetor? You know it ain't gonna work right with all the parts, without all the parts in it. That spring's real important. But hey, the practice run went good, and I can't do nothing but laugh. Alright, do not tear that diaphragm. Alright, come off. Thank you. Okay, that's the spring. It sits in there like that. Now, that goes like that. It's going to line up right. And down it goes again. Lines up. And we put the screws back in it. Glad I'm making this video. I need to laugh, I'll watch it. How many times did you take it apart and put it back together? Well, I took it apart once, but I put it back together 4 times. Why 4 times? Kept looking over on the workbench and seeing parts I left out. I guess on the plus side is I learned enough from the research that I did to know that, hey, that part laying on the bench, yeah, it needs to be inside the carburetor. Why'd you leave it on the bench? I don't know. Alright, let's make sure. Find, yep, there it is. Alright, that's tight. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. Now, see, the way that works That's the throttle. Opens throttle body. Alright, this, you want that spring to push that back down. And the diaphragm doesn't have a hole in it. That's good. Okay. Now, one more fun piece to put back on. Hey, this has a spring. We're going to put the spring in it. This is pretty cool. This is a primer. Never knew it was down there. What I found out was in really, really cold weather, this thing's supposed to be really hard to crank. Never experienced that because I guess we don't have any really, really, really cold weather. But you're supposed to take the little primer bubble here and press it, and it shoots gas in there and makes it easy to crank. Now, that'll probably go one way just as good as it will the other. I don't see any milling difference. Okay. Let's see. Spring lines up like that. Okay. That lines up like that, so feels right. Oh boy, that's going to be fun to hold in place. Got to hold that in place while I get the screw here with the screwdriver here. So, next thing to do is go and try to put this back on the ATV. And I think I'm just going to go fight it back on there. Well, probably next video will be cranking it, see how it runs. I will be sorely disappointed if this thing don't run right. Okay. Soybean farmer doing his first Honda ATV Foreman 450 carburetor rebuild. So we'll see what happens in the next video. Thanks for watching, y'all.